Hello, my name is Richard Fisher, and I'm here to help you navigate through the book of Isaiah so that you will understand it, and then you will be able to apply and teach it. Today we're looking at Isaiah 36 to 39. It is actually a historical example of faith and folly. One of the interesting things that it plays in the book, it helps to transition, because you're going to have three areas. You're going to have 1 through 35 is focusing on a situation that they were facing with Assyria. 36 through 39 deals with Hezekiah, and he's dealing with, at the first part of it, with Assyria, and in the second part he's dealing with what we face in the last section of 40 through 66, where we're focusing on Babylon. So here we see a transition, and that's what it serves as, this passage, a transition, as Israel is dealing with the nations around them. We find that in the first part of this transition, faith is found, and they become a voice of faith to the nations, but then the second part, they become a voice again of folly. And what we see there are the two ways that we respond to the nations, and this is found through the king Hezekiah. And as he responds to Assyria, he shows faith. As he responds to Babylon, he shows the area of no longer following God, but actually adopting the ways of the world. So let's put those two down as we look at them. In 36 and 37, we find trusting, an example of trusting in God. And when we trust in God, what happens is we become a witness. We become a witness to the world of hope and salvation. And that's 36 to 37. 38 and 39, what takes place here is instead of trusting in God, we see Hezekiah adopting the world view of the nations. And he's no longer witnessing. Matter of fact, he is trying to impress the nations with the same thing that they're involved in, materialism and all kind of things like that. And what happens, instead of giving a word of hope, he gives a message of doom. And it will lead to judgment of Israel, and it will lead to the judgment of the nations. As we respond to God, if we respond in faith, and we walk in the way of faith, we actually present to the world a message of salvation, that they too can find the joy and peace of God. If we adopt the ways of the world and we forget to take hold of God and embrace Him, the message that we give through our life and through the words that we speak is a message of condemnation. It's a message of doom. It's like saying, well, I'm not really trusting in life. I'm embracing the very pathway that we struggle with that leads to death and despair, complaining, and I have no hope, but that's the one I'm going to embrace anyway. And it's almost such a negative message that there seems to be, you step back and you say, what is going on with Isaiah? In Isaiah, what's going on with Hezekiah? The sad part about Hezekiah is the way it ends. The way it ends in chapter 39, last verse in chapter 39, he says, at least I will have peace in my time. And that becomes a word that is going to lead forward to the last part of the book. Because the last part of the book is going to start out by saying, comfort, comfort. And it's very important to know that that is to be taken in light of what has just been said in chapter 39, where there doesn't seem to be any hope. There seems to be nothing there except I'm happy that while I'm alive, there's going to be peace. That almost addresses every issue and every time that I know of in history where people are not willing to stand up for truth and pass it on to their children, but they're willing to let their children suffer the consequences of their own sin and folly. And Isaiah calls us to not do that, but to embrace God and stand up as messengers of light.